Hey now! What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I have ended my Gene Wilder tribute movie reviews with the classic, the one that I think everybody thinks of and probably went to watch as soon as they heard the news about Gene Wilder. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. This is a 1971 film, and this movie was directed by Mel Stewart, and the plot is we meet Charlie Bucket, who's this really nice, sweet kid. He lives with obviously his mother, but his grandparents as well. It's kind of a weird situation because it's both sets, both pairs of his grandparents, and they stay in their bed. They don't get up, and they don't have a lot of money. So this kid has really learned the values of sharing, of loving his family, and he's had some hard times. But Willy Wonka, who's this famous sort of figure of the town, has put out 5 golden tickets for kids to find in the chocolate bars, and if they find these tickets, they get to have a tour in the chocolate factory. So it's this mass frenzy, huge hysteria. The 5 kids find them, and Charlie just so happens to be one of them. They're able to bring a member of the family. They go to the factory, and wow, it's one of the most fun but also disturbing and weird experiences I think ever. Now, what I think of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is, I love this movie. I do. It's a classic. It's a great film, but not just that. This is the only Gene Wilder movie that I had previously seen before I did this marathon, this tribute. And this is one of those movies I remember first seeing it in school. Because in middle school, sometimes in high school, but mostly middle school, they just would love to randomly sometimes show us movies. And when I first saw this movie, I thought, wow, it's great. I loved it instantly. And then I saw it a few more times after that. But then there was a big stretch of time, years and years, where I didn't see this movie. And so rewatching it now, there's a lot of, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh, that person. Wow, that little kid. Everything almost came back instantly. And I fell back in love with this movie, rewatching it. First, let me talk about the main kid, Charlie Bucket. I really enjoyed him. He's played by Peter Ostrom, and I just really enjoyed him because he was so humbled. Especially if you compare him to the other kids who end up going to the factory and how spoiled some of them are and whatnot, he just really had an appreciation for everything that he got in life and the love for his family, and how excited he got about the potential of this golden ticket. It's the only thing he had to look forward to in life. You really felt for the kid, especially when he was almost depressed, when he thought he didn't win, and then the part where he finds the coin in the sewer. It's like, thank God he found that damn coin. And you really get happy for him when he does get that golden ticket finally. It's hilarious to see the town, the country, in that search for the golden ticket, the media going crazy, and just even grown-ups going nuts, desperate to look for the ticket. Some hilarious moments there, but also that's where you meet some of the other kids who end up getting the ticket as well. We have Veruca, who's a little rich, spoiled girl where her father hired a bunch of the factory workers to go through each and every single candy bar and check for the golden ticket. And she was flipping out, hysterical. She wanted that damn golden ticket. And sure enough, she got it. Violet was another little girl who just loved to chew bubblegum. She loved it so much that she had this one piece of bubblegum that she had been chewing for, I think, 3 months straight. To me, that sounds really gross, but I also want to start doing it to see if it's possible. I'll probably destroy my teeth that way. Mike is a little kid who dressed up like a cowboy. He loved, and I mean loved, watching TV. After he got the golden ticket and the news came to interview him, he couldn't care less about their questions because he wanted to watch the TV. In some ways, I don't blame him. And you have Augustus, who's this chubby kid, And I mean, he loves food. No brainer, he loves food. But let's talk about the man. The man that this is all about, the man who's front and center, because as much as Charlie is the main character, he definitely is the main character, and you spend a lot of time with him. When Gene Wilder shows up as Willy Wonka, the movie changes and it becomes more lively and more fun. And obviously the factory helps that as well. When you see the first room and it's full of candy and chocolate, it's like, I'm a freaking adult and I want to go to this place. It looks like fun. It looks like so much going on. But Gene Wilder brings so much to this role. I'm not sure if this movie becomes the classic. I'm not sure if this movie becomes as big of a hit as it was if Gene Wilder isn't Willy Wonka. I know that might sound crazy because lots of actors get casted and stuff and do stuff, but I can't picture somebody else doing this and doing it so well. He's so funny, but subtle. He's not too over the top. He doesn't just come in and chew up too much scenery to where he becomes annoying. No, it's the perfect amount of wit. It's the perfect amount of facial expressions and mannerisms to where he's likable. He's fun. You could tell he takes this seriously, though. This is his life. This is his job. And I love the short moments because these kids, they don't listen. Whenever he says, don't do this or don't eat that because it's not ready yet, of course, these kids want to do it anyways. And a lot of things happen. I've heard, since it had been so long since I've watched this movie, I would hear people talk about this film and say it's kind of a horror movie in retrospect. And I would hear that and go, what? Really? Because I didn't remember it that way. But rewatching it now, yes, there are plenty of scenes, there are plenty of moments that do almost seem too scary. I don't know how, I must have just blocked it out, but them on the boat, going to the other part of the factory, and all of the images that are around them. I'm pretty sure one of the images is a chicken getting their head cut off. I literally out loud said, oh my God, when I saw that. And I was shocked for the remainder few minutes of that. So again, a little horrific, but when stuff starts happening to the kids because they're too dumb and they do all these random things, I love Gene Wilder's reaction of, oh no, please don't, come back. But like, he really couldn't care less. I think he almost finds it amusing what's happening to them. Like obviously Augustus, who falls into the river of chocolate. I can't blame the kid though. I probably would have wanted to try it too. Or Violet, who eats the experimental gum and becomes a huge blueberry girl. And that also I want to mention the songs, because I also forget that this is kind of a musical at points. And a lot of the songs are great, they're catchy, but the most catchy song, and it probably helps because they perform it like 3 or 4 times in the movie, is the Oompa Loompa song. I mean, as a kid, I used to sing that all the time, and I never really fully understood what they were or what's going on. I can't even tell if Gene Wilder is being honest when he talks about the land that they're from and how they were all getting eaten by this thing, and he brought them here to protect them. Like, is he BSing these kids? Or because it's a funny story, or is it the truth? You can't tell with him. But also some elements of the fact that it's a horror movie is because these kids get picked off one by one. Sure, they're not dying, or at least I hope they're not dying, because at the end of the movie, he claims they'll be returned back to normal, and you sort of hopefully want to take his word for it, but you don't know. You don't ever see them after that. You just assume that they could have died. And hey, Charlie's okay, so I guess that's enough for us. But Willy Wonka, Gene Wilder, I love the nuances to the character, because the whole film, he seems like a guy who is a trustworthy guy. But then there's little moments, this one particular moment when I was watching it, and he has this weird, almost crazed look in his eyes, and it's really subtle. It's only for a few seconds, but it's when one of the machines are powering off, and it's really quick. He has this crazed look, like he could be a psychopath. And I love that. And in the very end of the movie where he flips out and he's going off, and you're thinking, whoa, this is taking a weird turn. You don't know like what type of guy this really is. But then he goes back to being a nice guy. And so I love the performance. I do. I love virtually everything about this movie. I'm so glad I rewatched it. I'm so glad that I own it now. It's one of these films that is a classic. You would be a moron to try to remake it. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? And I have a question. If you knew some of the scary things that go on in this factory, or what could happen to you or your kid, or just all of the danger stuff going on here, would you still want to go? Because I think I still would want to go to this factory. Just saying. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!